Hey, what's up? What's going on? Daria Jackson Legonier here from Willy.Daria.com. Happy Monday evening. Oh my God, I was under the weather earlier today and it just feels good to be feeling better. How was your Thanksgiving holiday? I hope it was awesome. I had a great time with family. Got to see people I haven't seen in a long time on both sides. So that was a blessing. We had a memorial for my sister-in-law on Saturday. So everyone came out and in support and just remembering her, and my nephew, he sang and played the guitar and had a special tribute to her, which was great. The food was awesome. The fellowship was great. Seeing a good friend from out of town, it was nice to see her, and it was just great. But it was crazy. I took my car to get serviced on Friday to get an oil change. No big deal. Rotate the tires, right? I got in the car, drove home, and it was like a few miles away from home. You know, I get my work done in the suburbs. I like the service better. Plus, my mom and my sister live out there. So when I get my car serviced, I go see them. And I was feeling lightheaded. Like I was smelling like these fumes, and I didn't know what that was. I just figured, oh, I put gas in the car. You know, maybe it's the gas. It'll go away. So I didn't think nothing of it. But that evening, I picked up my aunt. My aunt, she didn't notice the smell, but it was faint. It wasn't really heavy. And hi, thanks for the thumbs up. And we went to see my aunt. And while I was sitting there, I was feeling a little lightheaded, like I just wasn't feeling right. And I didn't understand, you know, what was going on. So, you know, I didn't really pay it no mind. I just figured, hey, you know, it's something, you know, with the car, nothing too serious. You know, it's probably gas. I went to get gas. So I hung out with my friend Dawn, and she gets in the car and she's like, what's that smell? And I'm like, I don't know. I think maybe it's gas. So, you know, still, you know, we hanging out, doing our thing. And by the time I got home, I was just so lightheaded. I was like, oh my God, I feel horrible. So basically, I didn't stay up long because I just didn't feel good. I just wanted to go to sleep. So I did that. And all day Saturday, we rode in my husband's car. So didn't think nothing of it. I figured maybe the vents were open and I'm smelling the fumes from the other cars. You know, I just couldn't figure it out. So went to church on Sunday in my car. And just my church is only like 5 minutes from my my home, and I was feeling that feeling all over again just within 5 minutes, going and coming back. And I was like, uh-oh, something is wrong. So I was feeling horrible yesterday evening and went to bed early and got up early, and I said, okay, I had to call in and go and get the car serviced, because I'm like, I can't ride like this to work every day, and once I'm in the car and I'm smelling those fumes, I'm no good. I feel horrible. I can't function like that. So went and got it serviced, and come to find out it was oil in the pan underneath the car. So I guess whenever they put the oil in the truck, I guess the overflow went into the pan, and then those are the fumes that I was smelling. So once they cleaned out the pan, now I'm back to normal. I can go back to work. I'm feeling better. I had to go back to sleep today because driving out there, I had to drive with the windows open, and it still, you know, wasn't enough. I was still smelling it. So now my car has like a little remnant of that smell. You know, it's like a residue. You still can smell it, but it's not as pungent, you know, which is good. So I know eventually it'll go away. But that was my holiday. I'm just glad I'm feeling better. But I got on today because I wanted to ask you a question. When you do your Facebook prospecting, how do you go about finding your perfect prospect? Like, what do you do? You know, is that something that you have a challenge with? Well, if you do, I'm going to help you out with that. So I got my notes here on my handy dandy iPad. So I'm going to show you some simple things that you could be doing where you can talk to the right people, because what the mistakes that a lot of network marketers do when they jump on, they prospect to everybody, and everybody is not your prospect because everyone is not interested in your product. Now, your product could be the best thing since sliced bread, right? But if your prospect doesn't find a need for it, they are not going to pay attention. They're not interested, and they will ignore you, and keep it moving. So what you want to do is you want to talk to people that are interested in what it is that you have. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go and hang out in groups and on fan pages that are within your product niche. So for instance, let's say you're in the travel industry or health and wellness, you're going to hang out in travel groups, people that like to go on cruises, people that like to go to all-inclusive, people that love to go on vacation. So you're going to hang out in those groups, and those people would be interested in something like that because they're members of that group. Does that make sense? So if you're in the wellness industry, and let's say you know someone that maybe they have diabetes, maybe they have cholesterol or something like that, you know that they're overweight, right? But if they're not interested in getting healthy and feeling better, it doesn't matter how good your product is, because they're not going to show interest, and they're just going to ignore it. So, hey, hey, Aurora, how are you? Good to see you. So you have to talk to people that want what it is that you have. So when you're in those groups, you want to look at the status updates. What are people saying, right? You want to make sure that these people are making intelligent comments. You don't want to pick someone or try to strike a conversation with someone that could barely spell, right? So, I mean, these things may seem really elementary, but I know when you're first getting started, it's like you want to have anyone join your business that's breathing, right? If they breathing, they fair game, right? But you don't want to have that type of attitude, because what happens is people will join you, but then they will soon fall off because that's not something that they really, really want to do. It's not their passion. So you want to you want to talk to people that are really, really interested in what it is you have to offer, and you strike a conversation with them. They will most likely hang out with you and be with you for the long haul because you have a commonality. All right. So here's some characteristics you want to look for in your search for the right person. You want to make sure that this person is positive. We don't have time for negativity. There's negativity all over the world. We don't need that in our space. It shouldn't be in our mind. It shouldn't even be nowhere near our purview. So if it's there, we can block it out and keep it moving. So of course, we're not going to look for someone that's making negative comments, because there's nothing positive about that. Anything negative is nothing positive about that. And that just doesn't need to be in your space. You want to look for someone, like I said, that's intelligent, that's smart, that's making comments that make sense, that are thought-provoking, where you would want to strike a conversation with them, and not necessarily just to get them in your business or to get them to buy your product, but just someone you can have a stimulating conversation with. When you get on social media and you meet people from all over the world, it's very interesting. It's amazing. The people that you meet on social media, where they live, what they've gone through, the fact that they're like 3 million hours ahead of you, or they're already in the next day, that baffles me. Even though I know it exists, but to actually speak to someone that is actually the a day ahead of you is just amazing, you know. And then the different cultures and the different languages, and it's just so much to talk about, not to mention whatever your commonality is, you got that to speak about. So it's really cool to speak to someone that's positive and that's smart. The next characteristic is you want to speak to someone that's non-argumentative. You know, you don't get on social media, at least I don't. You don't want to get on social media and argue with people, really? You know, social media, you know, especially if you're debating with someone you hardly even know. Like, okay, does that make sense? You know, being a business owner, just being a person of integrity, being a Christian, being someone with of goodwill, good cheer, and you're going to get on social media and argue? That just makes no sense. So if you come across someone that's argumentative in their comments, you don't have to comment back, you know. But there are people that just can't hold it in and they have to type, you know, and keep things going. It doesn't look good for you, and it doesn't look good for your brand. It doesn't look good for you at all. And when people come and look through your thread and they see that you're an arguer, you know, they're going to stay away from you. And you're trying to attract people to you. You're not trying to repel people. So you want to stay away from the argumentative type. You know, you don't want to, you know, be with them. You know, you don't want them in your circle. Also, you want to look for someone that's active, someone that's on social media every day. You know, maybe they're posting 2 to 3 times a day. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're posting, okay, I just ate some barbecue chips with a soda on the side. No, that's not what I mean. But, you know, those people that are posting meaningful content, something that you can get something out of, something that you wouldn't mind coming back to later. So you want to look for people that are active, because if they're active, you'll be able to have a conversation with them. If they're inactive, you send them a message. You know, you don't know when you might see that. They might see that message. It might not be into the next year. You know, that has happened. I have messaged people and didn't realize that they were inactive. And they got back to me like a year later. Hilarious, right? But and then the same thing has happened to me, because I didn't even realize they left me a message. But that's different because I'm active. No, but anyway, you want to make sure that you're picking people that are active so that you can have the interaction. So if you leave them a message today and they get back to you tomorrow, that's cool, you know, because people do have a life. You know, it's not like people are just sitting there, you know, waiting for a message to come through and answer. So that's okay. And you know, just so you know that you'll probably have, I don't know if you're familiar with Eric Worre. He is like the guru of network marketing. You know, he'll tell you you'll have maybe 5 to 6 exposures before someone actually shows interest in your product and actually either buys or joins you. So it's a process. But when that person joins you, you'll have a person with you for the long haul, as opposed to you just, you know, grabbing anybody you can get, and then next thing you know, they've fallen off, you know, because it was great at the moment, you know, and then they saw the next shiny object and then they're off and running because, you know, your deal didn't, you know, do what they felt it was going to do, you know, because anything that's going to pay you $1 million within 2 to 3 days is definitely a scam. You know, that's not real. In any business, you know, it takes time to build, and you have to take the training, you have to learn skill set. You know, there's a process. So if you are attracting those type of people that are looking for a pie in the sky and you know, their hand out, and it doesn't happen within 2 to 3 days or a week or two, you know, you get these. I've come across somebody that said to me, well, if this don't work within two weeks or 3 weeks, I'll see how it go. I already know what that means, you know, and I don't even want them on my team, because I already know they're not going to put forth the work. They're not going to learn the skill set they need to learn, and they just expect the system to just work on its own, because they're not going to put anything into it. They're just going to wait and see. Sit back, let me see, you know. So that type of person I don't want on my team anyway. because they're not a producer. And the last thing you want to do is when you're in these groups and you are communicating with people, you want to send them a private message. So this is the real cool thing. This is what really will get the conversation going on a deeper level. You go to their profile, right? And you check out, where they're from, their name, where they're from, what they do, if they share what they do. But if you see that they're in business, you have that commonality. If you see that they have a dog that you like, or the fact that they have a pet and you love pets, that's something that you can talk about. You can look to see where they live. Like I've came across people that lived in Vegas, and I happen to love Vegas. That's like one of my favorite spots on the planet. So if I was to reach out to that prospect, I would definitely make reference to the group in which I saw them. It could be a Robert Kiyosaki group. It has to be a group where people are active and leaving comments, a Jim Rohn group, So you want to make reference to where you met them, maybe a comment that they made that resonated with you, and also let them know that you were on their site, that you was checking them out, and you say, wow, I noticed that you live in Vegas. I absolutely love Vegas. I would say that I was there, maybe 2 years ago, and we did this when we was there, and we did that. What is it like living there? I can't even imagine living there. I mean, I could talk about Vegas forever, and then, you ask them, what do they do? I see that you're in business. What kind of business are you in? And you can just strike a conversation. And one of the biggest mistakes that I noticed that network marketers make is that they are addicted to the outcome, because they figured, well, if this person says they're interested, then they're going to join me right on the spot. And then if they don't join you, then you're like devastated, like, what happened? What did I do? What did I do wrong? It's not you. A person has to do, what they need to do in their time. It may not be the right time for them. And you got to respect that. And it's all good. Don't get all bent out of shape because they said they were interested and then they didn't take action. It's all good. Maybe they need another exposure. Maybe it's something else that you need to help them understand. So it takes time, but then it's worth it. And once you start on a roll and you do this like 5 to 10 times a day, just meeting people. You don't necessarily have to meet a person and then show them your opportunity. Just meet people. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? What you got going on? What's your favorite marketing strategy? Or it can go into what made you get into network marketing. Why did you even pursue that? And then you're in such and such company. What made you decide to join that company as opposed to blah, 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 and you just never know what may come out of that conversation. Maybe it's a health and wellness product, and maybe, it was somebody that was deathly ill, in their family, and that product saved their lives, or maybe it was a family member that was in it and they got introduced to it and, they fell in love with the process. It could be so many reasons why people are doing what they do, but you won't know what they are until you ask. So, you want to ask a lot of questions. I don't know if you realize that the person that's asking the questions is the person that's in control. So you want to be the one that asks questions. Now do people prospect me? Sure they do. But you could turn it around and you could start asking questions, right? So if you want to know questions that you could be asking your prospects, like hit me up, give me a private message. I got some really cool core questions that I do ask my prospects, or people that even prospect me, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you. So I hope you got value from this segment. I hope this will help you in your quest to finding the perfect prospect, on Facebook. I mean, there's a plethora of people that you can talk to. Oh my God, from all works of life, not only on Facebook, on all the other social media networks. But as far as Facebook is concerned, if you want to dig really deeper into finding your perfect prospect, there's going to be a webinar on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. My good friend Keisha Baz, and she is bad. She's going to teach you how to make Facebook simple. You know, sometimes we complicate things because, you know, we're not really sure, so we say, well, we're going to stay right here because I don't know about all that other stuff, because Facebook is massive. I mean, it is so much that you can do on Facebook alone to get your perfect prospect. I mean, there's ads, there's graph search, there's audiences. I mean, you could just tap into anybody. You know, it's just a matter of you knowing who your avatar is. You know, once you know your avatar, you can get your product in front of that audience only. So on Wednesday, she's going to make Facebook very, very simple. You know that term, keep it simple, silly? Well, she's going to break Facebook down so that you can get your prospects, so that you can market to the correct people, so that you can get oh, Willie's coming home, so that you can go through the process and where it can be profitable for you because you have the right people in front of you. So she's going to break that down for you. So if you really, 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 really want to take Facebook to the next level, make it really, really simple for you, you can jump on that webinar with me. I'll be more than happy to send you the link. All you have to do is private message me and give me your email, and I will email the link for you. Make sure that you register and come early with a pen and paper, because that webinar is going to be packed. Usually every Wednesday we have between 1,500 to 2,000 strong network marketers from all works of life, brick and mortar business owners, online marketers, anyone that's online that wants to come online and build their business online. They come to these webinars and they get these strategies and tips from the top income earners in our industry. So make sure that you do that. If you got value from this video, like it, send me a thumbs up, a heart, leave a comment below, share it with any business owner that you think that can use the information, and I'll see you guys on the webinar. Just make sure that you private message me, and I'll see you then. So until then, Daria Jackson Legonier signing off from WillyandDaria.com. I will see you tomorrow on the next Facebook Live. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.